here. You cannot see her, but she's purring like crazy. I have no idea if you can actually hear it or not. But so today I wanted to talk about the fact that this crazy path that you find yourself on as a pagan, Wiccan, that this is all do it your freaking self. And that can cause a lot of problems or cause a lot of benefit. I think that the customization of the craft and how much you can attune it to yourself, if you're not following a traditional path, aka you're not going into a coven, they're like, and this is what you need to learn, and this is how you cast a circle, and this is the rules and regulations, and this is what we follow. But with eclectic witches, or eclectic Wiccans, or eclectic pagans of any sense or shape or form, it really gets to a point where you're like, oh, I gotta figure this all out myself. Like, I have to figure out what vibes well with me. So I kind of have to dip my toe into all the damn ponds and figure out what temperature is good, where do I want to jump hell all the way in, where do I want to maybe like, no, I'm not going near that. And it can be a real conundrum, especially for someone who's new on the path like I am. When I first came into this several months ago, I was like, someone tell me where the book is. Someone tell me where the rules are. I need guidelines. Someone give me the how-to. How do I become a witch? How do I do witchcraft? And it's so funny how with all the advice for new witches videos that are out there, so many people are just like, dude, educate yourself and then figure it out for yourself, because it's so customizable. And even though that can be the very thing that lures you to it in the first sense, you're like, oh my god, it's not like a dogma thing that I have to like strictly follow here. It's very kind of loosey-goosey and you gotta figure it out yourself. It can all then suddenly be like, oh my god, I have to do this all myself. And I don't know where to start, which I think is why now that I have a couple of things where I'm like, this feels good, this feels right. Finding Persephone as my matron was very, very helpful. It helped me to figure out how to give offerings, figured out how I was kind of incorporating her into spells, kind of using the energies of her and how what things she vibrates off of that's attuned somehow with the energy that I'm doing too, so that's really great. So I can figure out, okay, so if that's the energy that she vibes with and I vibe well with her, I could incorporate something similar into spells I use in general. But that is something, I think the best advice that I can give for anyone is realizing, especially as someone who's like, the traditional stuff isn't working for me. For me, what has really, really helped is finding the curiosities. Is going, that's weird, that's odd in a good way, and I want to explore it more. I want to dive the hell into it and kind of go, okay, so does this fit for me? Does this work? I did that with gods and goddesses. I kind of did a very brief overview of most of the pantheons from different cultures and things, and realized that there was one story that was kind of always calling out to me over and over again. That's how I realized who my matron was. Using personified deity in my practice was something I was at first very adverse to, because I was like, no, if I wanted to talk to a god, I would have stayed more with the whole Judeo-Christian system. But the idea of pagan gods really, really informed me, so that's why I was more curious with that. And I had to kind of customize to myself what worked with that. And then it vibed right, so I kept with it. And some things have definitely vibed wrong. Let me tell you, oh, there's been patrons that just didn't know. It says no. And no in a weird way, a very blank way, a very, do I need to try harder here? Or are you just ignoring me because you don't like me? Like, it's very like, oh, I don't know where to go from here. And especially with Book of Shadows and grimoires and mirrors and all the spell books and things that witches use. Where do I start with that? Do I just start, like, especially because you think there's a book out there that everyone else is reading off of? And it's a great realization to realize they're not. They're all making their own. They're all taking something, well, not all, I should say. I'm sure someone's reading off someone else's somewhere. But most people are taking bits and pieces of things and incorporating it for themselves and going, this is good, this is good, this is good. And that ultimately, I think, is what is so great and vibes so well with me, with the craft and paganism and Wicca still, is because it is so customizable. It is so much of what vibes well with you, what works for you. If it doesn't, if any of this does not work for you, there is a lot less judgment than what I've experienced in other religious circles. Like, there's still heavy debates, don't get me wrong there. The things I have seen about, that's, you don't do that, you're not a real pagan. If you don't do that, you're not a real witch. If you're not, But it's funny is the amount of debates and the amount of infighting in ways makes it even better, because there's not this several set of rules that everyone's kind of like gone like, yeah, that's the thing. everything is up for debate in a weird way. That actually makes it easier for you to find out what is cemented and good for you, because you realize, oh, it's okay if I don't vibe well with that person. It's okay if I am totally off the rails over there. It's okay if I explored that tradition and it didn't work out for me. I can then go over here and try this instead. Exploration is such a part of it. Education is such a part of it. I think that's one of the biggest paramounts about it, is so many people encourage everyone to educate. You can listen to me talk, you can listen to other amazing witches out there talk all the time, but ultimately you need to find all the information, compare or contrast, and go yes or no for yourself. Now that I've kind of worked through the first several months of just wading through mud and nature and all the crazy things and diving into different stuff and refocusing and retuning, and not like you just kind of just like dive all the way in and go, oh my god, there's so much stuff to know and to learn, and how do I ever how do I even carve with a machete through all of this to find my way? And after a little while of digging, the path starts to kind of unfold for you a little bit. It's easier to listen to your intuition, to listen to your own energy and figure out what works and what doesn't, which is great. And I'm really starting to find that kind of like that feeling, that centeredness of going, okay, this is working well. That doesn't. Like, it's easier for me now to pick things up and find what vibes and what doesn't, and come to a tune with stuff. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Comment down below about different things that you found hard time with finding your own path, because that's also, it's the beauty of it and the hard struggle of it is the fact that you've got to do this yourself. It is total DIY. So I do new videos every Wednesday and Saturday, and I will see you guys next time. Have a good day.